But anyways, Tiff, you'll be okay. So here we go. All right, so here I scanned the entire image with the cardboard stuff. So what I could do, let's do this. Let's go File, Save As, and let's compress it. Oh, by the way, you were saying, how do I, if I have is there a program that will rescan or resave all of my things that I saved as JPEGs? Within Photoshop and Photoshop Elements, there's actions that you can program. They are really quite simple. And it will automatically resave everything that you have into whatever you want it to, wherever you want it to. So that's one option for you too. But don't panic, again, unless you're going to work on the pictures. Because every time you work on it, save it, close it, open it, work on it, save it, close it, it recompresses it and recompresses it, and you end up, your picture ends up losing integrity. So here's the Tiff Options dialog box. The image compression that I recommend is called LZW. I forgot what it meant. Zelp Welch, something. Anyways, that's the safest compression. It doesn't, unlike JPEG, it doesn't average out colors and make blocky images and gummy edges, which is what JPEG compression does. It actually, all it does is cut off the zeros at the end of each bit in the file, and it makes it smaller. And those zeros have no information. Pixel order, leave it at the default, interleaved, you know, byte order. Most PCs and Macs can read each other's TIFFs now. Really doesn't matter. Just to be safe, IBM PC. And I'm working on the Mac now, you know, as you see. So here's the image area. So now what we did, we have this. I have the original now. Now I want to work on it. And I actually want to make a picture that I'm going to use, that I'm going to give to someone. And I know they don't want all that brown junk and paper. So I do my crop. Now I do my crop. Then I go File, Save As. And at the end of the file name, I prefer to do R1. That means revision 1. You could do V1, whatever. You can do A, whatever you want. And now I'm working on R1. The original is untouched. See? So you see up at the top it says R1. All right. So the first thing to do in this one is we have to see the image. We have to learn to analyze pictures. You've got to look at pictures. What's in it? What's wrong with it? That's the first thing that comes to most people's minds. All right? And you need to look at that, and you need to look at other things too. You may say, well, there's some stains, and there's some scratches, and some molds too. But the most annoying part is it's faded. But technically, what kind of photograph is it? Someone raise their hand. It's a portrait. Yep. What else? It's sepia. Could be sepia, but it may be a false sepia. Because what a lot of people think is sepia is actually just, yeah, it's just that chemical reaction going on with the air, and it's turning yellow. Could be sepia though.
Tintype?
It's not a tintype, but it has that appearance. Oh, good seeing you again. I usually see him at the PGSA, a Polish Genealogical Society conference. What else? I'm trying to get you to think a little more critical. Like, let's pretend we're in photography class and I just shot this and I'm showing this off. Forget the spots.
Overexposed, underexposed?
underexposed. Or, not quite. I think the exposure's right. What?
I said no flash.
They got a good light source coming off the side. What else? There you go. That's what I wanted to hear. That's what I wanted to hear. She said no contrast, or low contrast, actually. It's very low contrast. It's because it's fading, because all this stuff is happening. Okay? That's what we got to attack. Everyone was right, but that was really the answer that I was looking for. So you got to look at it and say, that's a flat photo. Contrast means you can see the difference between light and dark. In this case, I see the difference between kind of like dark gray and light gray. Yeah, it's flat. So we got to fix that. And the thing I like to teach the most for beginners is using what's called the levels adjustment. Yes. I'm sorry? That's 1893? 1883.
Sorry, sorry. Yeah, right.
Yeah, get those years right.
That's right, sorry.
Because I know what it was like in 1883. So what I do is I go through what's called the individual channels right within this levels dialog box, okay?
And how did you get to that?
Are you still in the Epson thing?
Actually, we're in Photoshop. I opened this picture in Photoshop. I'm in what's called the photo editing program now. I'm out of the scanner, not in that anymore.
How did you get into that one?
Yep. So what I did is in, do you have Elements, Photoshop Elements, or Photoshop? What do you have? Paint Shop Pro? Photoshop. All right. So what version? Okay, that's all right. That's all right. So I went to Image, Adjustments, Levels. Now in Elements, it'll be Image, Enhance, Color Levels, I think. Now in my course where I deal with Photoshop and in the workflow, I actually give you the Photoshop Elements equivalents. So those of you who have Elements, you're not lost. So now I got my Levels dialog box. And I want to move the dark and the light triangles, which are at the ends, to the edges of this, what's called a histogram, but I like to call it the mountain. And then I go to the green channel. And I start moving it. And of course everyone's saying, should we have really asked him to come here tonight? I'm not done. Now we go to the blue channel. All right. So before, after.
Wow, that's pretty good.
Now, this is a real simple technique to get you out of the woods. But then when you're out of the woods, you look at your pants and you see all those little thistle birds all over you. And you're trying to tie your shoes and you're going, ow, ow, ow. And then there's the ticks and all over you, and the leeches and the mosquito bites. And here they are in the scratches. So because you fixed the contrast, but you also fixed the scratches, you made them visible. Now you can see it for what it is. And this is where it takes a lot of work. So we could approach it in a couple ways. Okay, why are you doing this to me? Okay. In Photoshop CS4 and above, and I think Photoshop Elements 9, if I'm correct, there's, I don't even know if they got it in Elements, but there's a workaround. There's a nice thing called the black and white adjustment control and function. And that is a great way to knock out color casts with a black and white image. Because this is a black and white image, we scan it in color. It doesn't have to stay in color. Okay? We just